Hello, everyone. My name is Dunya, and I am a senior studio arts major who is a leadership consultant for the activism and political groups on campus. Today, we are going to be talking about effective programming and club meetings. Something important to keep in your mind when you are thinking about creating club meetings and programming for your meetings is you want to keep it simple, you want to keep it consistent, and you want to keep it interactive. What do I mean by simple and consistent? I'm just as if you were in person and you would constantly have a meeting in one particular room, maybe in like the ballroom. You want to use the same link every week for your organization. That way they're not scrounging for links every time you have to send it to them. It's very simple. All of the information is given to them over the same source as opposed to a couple different ones. So, look, for example, I would not send a Zoom link through like a group meet or a group chat because it gets lost really easily and students aren't going to be able to find it accessible. And not only is it inconsistent, it's hard to send it if you're like, you can't send it in the middle of a chat if everyone is talking. But if you send it in the email, it's a lot more consistent. Your organization members know where to find it. And it's just important to keep all of what you can do simple, concise, and consistent. Online is a lot harder to keep track of your information. So if you can somehow find a way to give information about your club to your members through a couple specific channels so they know where to go, it's going to be easier for your club all around. People are going to know what's going on and they're going to want to come back. Another really, really important theme to remember is you want to stay interactive. If you are not interactive with your members, they are not going to want to come back. You want to make sure that you're engaging with people, particularly those who don't necessarily have the connection with your organization. So when you're creating programming, you should keep two really big questions in mind. The first one is that you should ask yourself, what is the purpose of my organization? You can go back and you can take a look at your bylaws and see what you have written down there, but you also want to look back and you want to take a step back and truly understand what your purpose online is for an organization. You you do not want your members to sit down for another 40, 50-minute lecture when they have spent the last 6 hours on Zoom. You maybe need to restructure the purpose of your organization for this spring semester. Maybe deviating from just educational, maybe deviating from like you just have speakers or you're just focusing on one particular topic. You really want to become and you really want to emphasize the social aspect of your organization. This is the one Zoom session that many members are coming on because they genuinely want to be there. And it's more important to engage with them and give them a time to sit down and just have fun and socialize with their friends and people who are interested in the similar subject than it is to truly give another talk or have give another talk for 50 minutes about a subject. Um, and this really kind of goes into the next question, which is would I want to attend this meeting? If you, as an executive board member, do not want to attend a meeting, why would a freshman who has no preconceived connection to your organization attend? Like I was saying, organizations have a very specific role online and have a very particular role, and that's to really help members engage in your college community and understand that you can provide that leeway for them that they otherwise wouldn't be getting if they were not in your org. Make sure that everyone knows each other, introduce their names. I would much rather attend a meeting if I knew other people in that organization could tell me, sorry, if I could name those individuals as opposed to or me naming them. Um, you have to give them a reason to sit on Zoom for another hour. And that should be a very, very big part of your club meeting creation and your programming. The next thing you want to do is you really want to change up your meetings. Don't just keep it to one consistent thing. Give your members some variety. You can have some alumni meetings. Maybe you can call back to alumni who've maybe in your specific field, or maybe it's people who are in your org and what they've learned from your organization and applied to, their jobs or maybe their graduate school. You can do sort of specific events. You can have a speaker come. Don't be afraid to do a debate and a round table. And the two things that I think are really, really important to do online is have watch parties and have game nights. These don't necessarily have to be at the meeting time that you are. If you have to meet at like 10 at night, I don't know if anyone wants to watch a movie then, but you can create some fun watch parties and game nights for your friends where you can learn more about each other and truly engage and have a great time online and build the community that should be your organization. And we talk about interactivity, there's a lot of different options. You can stick with Jamboard. It's great for idea solving. It's also great if you want to just throw a bunch of stuff down and have everyone participate in one activity. It is like interactive sticky notes. You can move them around. You can change their sizes. You can use this as like an intro game. So let's just say everyone comes into a Zoom meeting and the first thing that you have available to them is a link to Jamboard. And on Jamboard, it's a question. It's like, how are you feeling today? And everyone in your organization can write on a little sticky note, like, oh, I'm feeling great. Today's been great. Or, oh, no, today's been terrible. What this does, it gives everyone a chance to interact without maybe taking up the whole meeting or taking up a lot of time. So everyone gets a little say, everyone gets to read what everyone else wrote without having to go one by one on Zoom. Another great idea, Kahoots or online trivia games are always fun. You can find them relating to your particular special topic. And it's nice to have a little competition. If you can make a little online prize, you could give like a little gift card. Competition is always a really great way to like bolster engagement. So not only you want to have interactivity, you want people to continue engaging. And a great way is competition. Another really good one is Scribblio. I love, this is a great site. It's for online Pictionary. But what's really special about this is that you can input your own words. So if, let's just say you have a speaker of the week previous, and then you have you have a speaker the week previous, and then the next week you want to somehow reinforce those topics, you can use this online Pictionary. You can put in keywords from that speaker, and then you can play the game. It's a very fun way to interact again with a lot of members without having to individually like address a very large org. Another one is Padlet. Padlet is like an online bulletin board. You can give each other compliments through it. It's all anonymous. You can each write little updates on your lives. For example, if let's just say you're with like a hiking organization, and once a month you like want everyone to make sure they go on a hike. Padlet is a great place for everyone to like submit photos and write a little like paragraph on how their hike went and what they learned. You can use these tools and a lot of these tools online in various different ways, depending on what your organization needs. And something that's really, really important is you should not be afraid of icebreakers. I know no one likes to go into a room and be like, we're going to be doing icebreakers for an hour, but these are really, really important for online connectivity. It's one of the few times people get to learn a little bit about each other without something about them without having to worry about how you're necessarily presenting. And you can have some really great ones. You can do a few regular questions like, oh, what's something new that you guys discovered this week? What has been your quarantine activity? Did you learn any new skills? You could also do two truths and a lie. That's a pretty basic one, but it's still pretty consistent online. You could do a scavenger hunt. You could go out and you could ask everyone, find something red. You have to be back in 2 minutes. There's a lot of really fun ways to make normal games that you played in person online. And don't forget that Google is your best friend. If you are working on a icebreaker for a particular topic, you can probably type in like earth, earth and science icebreakers, and something will pop up. You can always adapt those to whatever you need. So use the resources available to you to truly help you make your organization stronger. Something you have to realize online is that it is a lot harder to make a great meeting than it is in person. You have to take more time and more effort in front loading and learning about your options to make a great meeting. When you're in person, you could just like grab something from a box and you could go there and you could, you could make a great, absolute, fantastic meeting. But online, it's a lot harder, and you really have to learn those things at your disposal. So don't be afraid to Google. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask your local leadership consultants. The next thing we want to talk about is technical aspects of Zoom. It's really great to have a fantastic meeting, but if it can only last 50 minutes, or if or if no one can find the link for it, it's it's going to be pretty difficult for you and your organization. So we're going to go through these questions. Do you have a licensed account? Do you know how to set up a reoccurring link? Do you know how to make breakout rooms, polls, and the annotation feature? So first of all, do you have a licensed account? To check if you have a licensed account on Zoom, you want to open up the Zoom downloaded app that you, sorry, this downloadable Zoom app that you have. And you can click on the little icon with your initials on it. And if you click on it, if your account is licensed, it will have a little like Instagram rainbow letters that say license. You can also find this on the Zoom web browser. This is a little bit easier though. What a licensed account gives you a lot more privileges. You have access to polls, you have access to longer Zoom meetings. And at the end of the day, the university is paying for this account. And it is, and you shouldn't let it go to waste if you don't know how to sign in. But if you have a licensed account and you don't know how to sign in, you have to make sure that you are using your SSO login. That means you should be logging on to Zoom through the Westchester UPA home screen, the same you would to get onto My Westchester URD2L. You should not be going through a third party. Your login information should be put into the Westchester website, and that goes through the SSO, which is WCUPA. This is really important to have. It gives you access to a lot of features, and it gives you co-host privileges. Again, you really need to make sure that you are using your licensed account. Something else that you want to make sure you know how to do is how to create a reoccurring Zoom link. And this is also pretty simple. You go on to your Zoom app, you click schedule a meeting, and you make sure to click the little reoccurring meeting button up in the corner. What's nice about this is that you can title it, you can make your Monday meetings at 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m. Weekly, with a passcode, obviously, and you can choose if you want a waiting room. But something that's also really important is that if you click other calendars, Google Calendar or Outlook, particularly Outlook, if you send this meeting to your organization and they choose to RSVP, that meeting will automatically enable itself into their Outlook calendar, which means they'll be getting notifications and they will have the information constantly on their email and on their calendar on Outlook, so they don't have to look for this email whenever they need a link. So that's really important. Highly recommend doing that. And then some Zoom features really quickly. Know how to set up breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are really great if you have a large organization and you really want some small group contact. It's great if you want to do maybe breakout room competitions, and each breakout room has to complete a task. Whoever gets it first wins. It's also great for really like randomizing members and engaging with different classes, engaging with one another. You really, some breakout room understandings is that you can send out chats to everyone. That means hosts and co-hosts, like they have the same privileges, so they can send out chats to everyone. But the difference is that only hosts can receive helps for requests in terms of breakout rooms. So if you are if your secretary is the one making all of your links, then only the secretary will be the one receiving that information. But it's all fairly straightforward. It's nothing too difficult. Click the button, put the breakout rooms, have fun. And the next feature I want to talk about is polling. Now, polling is also really important to understand who is creating the link. So only the original creator of the Zoom link can create polls, and you have to have a licensed account to create any polls. So if your secretary is the one using her licensed account and they are the ones who are creating the Zoom link, they are the only ones who can add questions to the polling feature. And just be aware of that. No hosts or other co-hosts, even if you change it over, are able to do that. And this meeting, just for technicality, must be either a scheduled meeting, which shouldn't be an issue if you are sending a reoccurring link, or an instant meeting with using your personal meeting room. And then the last feature, when you talk about polling, this is how it looks like. You have the poll itself, and then you have the in progress section, and then it gives you with a little timestamp at the corner, and then it gives you a whole little report at the end that'll be sent to your email. Another important feature is the annotation feature. So the annotation feature works only when someone else is sharing their screen. You kind of go up to the little top bar thing that you can click. You click the annotate button, and it'll give you all of these options to play around with the annotation feature. So this is really great if you want to, again, have like a question when all of your members are coming into your meeting and they can all like annotate the text, they can all write something, they can all participate. You can kind of use visuals to your advantage. Maybe you want to have a question that's on like an XY graph, and you can kind of see like the trend and the in the responses. So you have some really exciting ways you can use this feature. You can communicate to one another. You cannot use this feature when it is not on share screen, so you can't just like draw on your professor's face as much as it would be fun if you could. So keep those features in mind. And again, it's incredibly important to understand and utilize your resources. Use Google, ask your leadership consultant questions, ask the Student Leadership Involvement Office for questions. You have a lot of resources at your disposal. And if you ask, we will gladly be able to help you. If you're unsure how to create a meeting for your club, if you want to somehow adapt something, an event that you did in person online, we are the people to help you. So please reach out, and thank you so much.